I confessed to my crush after 2 years and she was dating my best friend the whole time. 11th grade started like any other year. New class, new faces, and this weird buzz in the air like something was about to change. Most of my old classmates got shuffled around and this year was full of fresh transfers. I was just this average dude, introverted, decent looking on a good day, invisible on a bad one. I didn't expect anything big. I was mostly just trying to survive. And then I saw her. I know it sounds stupid, but I swear something about her just hit different. Like, the moment she walked in, it was like the world dimmed a little and the spotlight followed her. She wasn't dressed fancy or anything, and she didn't do anything dramatic. But she stood out. She had this quiet confidence, this energy that made you want to be around her. And me? I was just the guy who admired her from 3 benches away. I never talked to her, barely looked her way for more than a few seconds. I didn't want to come off as some creep, so I just kept my crush bottled up. I'd glance at her during class, overthink every time she looked remotely in my direction, and then beat myself up for being too scared to say anything. Midterms came and went. Then, by some stroke of fate, or maybe our teacher's twisted sense of humor, we got a new seating arrangement. I got moved to the last bench of the middle row. Guess who sat right in front of me? Her. I panicked. Then I overthought. Then I panicked some more. But eventually, I talked to her. It started small, random homework questions, lame jokes about the teachers. To my surprise, she didn't just respond, she actually seemed to enjoy talking to me. We had similar taste in music, both obsessed over the same crime docuseries, and we even shared a hatred for our math teacher's weird obsession with surprise tests. Conversations became easier. She'd smile when she saw me. Sometimes she'd turn around and chat before class. I started looking forward to school. To her. I thought we were becoming friends. Or maybe I was just convincing myself of that. I wanted to tell her how I felt so many times, but the fear of ruining what we had, however little it was, just kept me quiet. I didn't want to be a memory she awkwardly avoided. And then 11th ended. New seating. New classmates around her. We barely spoke. It was like everything we'd built just quietly faded away. But I still wasn't over her. And I didn't know then, but the real chaos was still waiting. 12th grade was weird. Like, academically it was chaos, boards, coaching, pre-boards, all that pressure. But personally, it felt quiet. Too quiet. She and I weren't talking like before. We'd smile if we crossed paths, but it wasn't the same. No more random convos about music or making fun of our math teacher. It was like whatever we had quietly died and no one even noticed. And honestly, that hurt more than I thought it would. So I distracted myself. Started spending more time with the boys, bunking classes, cracking dumb jokes, messing around in the computer lab. It was fun, yeah. But every now and then I'd catch a glimpse of her laughing with someone else and it would hit me all over again. That tiny ache in the chest you try to ignore. That what if constantly ringing in the back of your mind. Then came the farewell. The big, dramatic end of an era thing. Everyone was dressed up, guys in suits, girls in saris, the whole deal. People were crying, taking selfies, promising to stay in touch forever. I knew this was my last shot. Like if I didn't tell her now, I'd regret it forever. I planned to say something. I really did. But every time I got near her, she was surrounded by friends or laughing with someone or just busy being her. I chickened out. Again. Story of my life. Later that evening, a few of us planned to hit this club for an after-party. One of my rich friends rolled up in his dad's BMW like some budget Fast and Furious character. I went not because I like parties, but because I didn't want to be the guy who went home to sulk on farewell night. The place was loud, flashy, full of sweaty dancing and bad DJ remixes. I was dying inside. After maybe half an hour of pretending to vibe, I stepped outside to catch my breath. And guess who was already there? She was standing under one of those yellowish streetlights, talking to her friend. Her friend left just as I walked up. She saw me and smiled, that same smile from 11th grade. The one that used to make my stomach flip. We started talking. About the past. About how things used to be. About how we drifted. I don't know what came over me. But right then and there, I told her everything. Told her I liked her. Since the beginning. That I'd wanted to tell her so many times but never had the guts. That she wasn't just some passing crush, she was the girl, you know? The one you secretly write songs about in your head and imagine a life with even when she barely knows you exist. She looked at me for a second. And then smiled. That soft, heartbreaking kind of smile. And then she said the words that cracked me open. I kinda knew for a while now. And then? She told me she was already in a relationship. With one of my best friends. She said it so gently like she was scared I'd break right there. I'm already seeing someone. My brain didn't even register it at first. It was like someone pulled the plug and all the background noise, the music, the honking outside, the distant shouting just faded into this eerie silence. I blinked at her. Then she said the name. My best friend. The same guy I'd shared lunch with for 2 straight years. The same dude I told everything. Or at least I thought I did. It felt like I'd been sucker punched by someone I wasn't even in the ring with. I don't even remember what I said after that. Probably nothing. My throat was dry, my chest felt tight, and I was trying to swallow the lump rising up. I wanted to scream, to punch a wall, to cry right there and then, but I didn't. I just stood there. Like an idiot. She didn't say much either. She didn't explain herself, didn't defend him, didn't even try to make me feel better. Maybe she knew there was nothing she could say that wouldn't sound like salt on an open wound. But she didn't walk away. We stood there for a long time, just breathing the same air, looking everywhere except at each other. At one point, I glanced up at her. The club lights flickered behind her like something out of a sad movie. And I swear, I saw her eyes glisten just a little. She nudged my arm softly and gave me this look like, I'm sorry, but what can I do? Then she turned around and walked back in. And just like that, the moment was gone. I stayed outside for a while, trying to piece myself back together. Thought about texting my friend, asking him if it was true, if he knew how I felt, if this was some kind of sick joke. But I didn't. Because deep down, I already knew the answer. I went back inside eventually. Pretended to smile, danced like a clown for a bit, laughed at jokes I didn't even hear. I don't think anyone noticed. Or maybe they did and just didn't want to ask. Later that night, I said goodbye to everyone like nothing had happened. Told them farewell. Gave hugs. Took blurry photos. And walked out with a smile that didn't belong to me. And that was it. The end of school. The end of whatever chance I thought I had. The end of the girl I never really had to begin with. But damn. She'll always be the one that got away before she even arrived. The next day felt like a hangover without the drinking. Just this heavy, hollow ache in my chest that wouldn't go away. I stared at the ceiling for hours, replaying that conversation over and over. Every word. Her voice. That soft, damn smile. The way she said she knew all along. And him. My friend. I couldn't stop thinking about all those days we hung out, me, secretly in love, and him probably already knowing. I mean, he had to know, right? I used to talk about her all the time back in 11th. Not in a creepy, obsessed way, but enough to make it obvious that I liked her. Maybe he thought I was just another dumb teen with a harmless crush. Maybe he just didn't care. Either way, it fucking hurt. And no, I didn't confront him. I didn't rage or scream or throw punches like in those dramatic movies. I just pulled away. Quietly. Stopped replying to texts. Avoided hangouts. When school was officially over, I let everything fade with it. The group chats, the friendships, even the jokes. They all started feeling hollow. I tried moving on. I really did. I even downloaded dating apps once. Swiped for like 5 minutes before deleting everything. Every girl I spoke to felt like a distraction I didn't have the energy for. No one felt like her. No one laughed like her, or looked at me the way she used to when we shared a stupid inside joke back in 11th. The worst part? I didn't even hate her. Couldn't. She didn't lie to me. She didn't string me along. She just wasn't mine to begin with. That's what made it worse. And somehow, that guilt sat on my chest more than the heartbreak did. Like I didn't even have the right to be this hurt. So I smiled when people said school life was the best. I laughed with old classmates when they brought up farewell night. I double-tapped her posts on Instagram like nothing ever happened. But deep inside, I was still standing outside that club. Still watching her walk away. Still hoping she'd turn around and say, I made a mistake. She never did. I never healed, really. I just learned how to act like it didn't matter anymore. Learned how to hide that weird ache behind sarcasm and memes. You get good at it after a while. And that was it. My great love story. 2 years of silence, a 3-minute confession, and a lifetime of what if. A few months passed. Entrance exams came and went. Life moved on like it always does, but I felt stuck in this weird limbo where nothing made sense anymore. Everyone around me was planning colleges, courses, careers. I was just drifting. I still saw her posts sometimes. Cute little selfies with captions like new beginnings or grateful for the memories. I never saw any with him though. No couple pics. No anniversary posts. Nothing that screamed we're together. It made me wonder sometimes if it was real. If she lied. If he lied. But honestly, I stopped caring about the truth and started accepting the reality. They didn't owe me anything. Harsh, but true. You think after all that emotional chaos, there'd be some big moment of healing. Like I'd meet someone new or have a dramatic glow-up or find closure through some accidental text from her. But no. Real life doesn't care about poetic justice. One day I just stopped checking her profile. I don't remember when exactly. It wasn't some grand decision. I just realized her name didn't pop into my head as often. Her laugh wasn't stuck in my mind like it used to be. And for the first time in a long time, I felt okay. Not great. Not healed. Just okay. And that was enough. I still think about her sometimes. Like when I hear a song we both liked or when someone mentions farewell night. But the pain? It's not sharp anymore. It's dull, manageable. More like a scar than an open wound. We never spoke again after that night. Not a single message. Not a hey, have you been? Nothing. I guess we both knew whatever existed between us, real or imagined, had run its course. And that's life, isn't it? Sometimes you fall for someone who was never meant to stay. Sometimes you wait too long and the timing slips right past you. Sometimes your best friend becomes part of the story in a way you never expected. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Say what you feel. Even if it's scary. Even if it hurts. Because silence? That shit eats you alive. I'd rather get rejected 1,000 times than live with the regret of what if ever again. So yeah, that was my first real heartbreak. My first confession. My first lesson in timing, friendship, and how brutally unfair feelings can be. No happy ending. But a real one. And sometimes that's enough.